In this video, I want to walk you through one of the most effective exercises you can do as a beginner, simplifying a complex photo into 5 values. It might sound simple, but this one practice can change the way you see and draw. As you can see, I'm dividing these boxes into those values that I can use as a reference. So start with this first, and then number each box below, going from the light to the darkest. So what do we actually mean by 5 values? Instead of trying to capture every subtle shift in tone that you see in a reference image, you reduce everything down into 5 clear groups. These are your lightest light, a light grey, a mid-grey, a dark grey, and your darkest dark. By limiting yourself to just these 5 values, you remove the noise and focus on what really matters, the big relationships between light and shadow. This is what makes a drawing read clearly from a distance, and it's something a lot of beginners overlook because they jump straight into the detail way too early. You can also follow along with this video. I'm drawing a still life of pears, and I've converted it to black and white. I'm briefly going to show a posterized effect on Photoshop so you can see what we're trying to work towards. The image link is in the description. This step alone will make a huge difference because it removes the distraction of color and allows you to focus entirely on value. Before you even put pencil to paper, take a moment to properly observe the image. This is a step that's often rushed, but it's where a lot of improvement actually happens. Ask yourself where the darkest areas are, where the lightest areas are, and try to identify the biggest shadow shapes. Think in terms of simple blocks than details. You're not trying to copy everything you see. You're trying to understand how the image is built. This exercise is about tone and shapes. Don't get caught up in the tiny details and start drawing lines. This is not a line drawing exercise. This is a tone drawing exercise. When you start drawing, begin by mapping out the biggest shapes. This is the only time you can roughly put lines on the paper. You don't have to be 100% perfect with your proportions here. Just get a rough outline of the overall image. Keep it loose and don't worry about accuracy at this stage. The goal here is to get something down that represents the overall structure of the image. Once that's in place, you can start assigning your 5 values more deliberately. Look at each area and decide where it sits. Is it light, mid, or dark? Try to make clear decisions and commit to them. One of the most common mistakes is staying in the safe middle ground, where everything is a very similar grey. That's what leads to muddy drawings with no contrast. This exercise forces you to be decisive, and that's exactly what makes it so effective. As you build up your values, remember to go from light to dark. Use them carefully and intentionally because these areas will affect and anchor all of the drawing. They create contrast and help everything else stand out. Really figure out where those highlights are, where those mid-tones are, those darker greys, and then the even darker greys itself. You'll notice that even without any detail, the image will start to feel more complete and readable, even without any lines or outlining. That's the power of getting your values right. Another part of the process, which is important, is learning to group shapes together. If 2 areas are similar in value, simplify them into one shape and separating them. This is where you move from copying to interpreting. You're deciding what matters and what can be left out. This is a huge step forward in developing your drawing skills. And I really do highly recommend you trying out this exercise on 3 or 4 images after you're watching this video. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the Portrait Guru for even more content and videos in the future. I really appreciate all of your support. At some point, you might feel the urge to start adding details, refining the edges, adding texture, or tightening things up. Try to resist that. The goal of this exercise isn't to create a polished drawing, it's to train your eye. By staying within the limitations of 5 values and tones, you're building a stronger foundation that will make detailed work much easier later on. This drawing took me around 15 minutes to create. I've sped it up for this video, but just take your time with your drawing. You can always slow down this video and follow along. Once you've filled in your 5 values, just take a step back and look at your drawing from a distance. It's really important that you keep squinting your eyes throughout this whole process. By squinting your eyes at the reference photo, you can simplify the shapes and the tones that you're drawing. Definitely keep doing that. Want to go even deeper? Join the Portrait Guru membership for exclusive shorts, behind the scenes content, and exclusive chat rooms to help improve your art with fellow gurus. It's a way to support the channel and your own artistic journey. Check out the link in the description about different membership options. Squint your eyes, step back, and also take breaks if you're feeling a bit confused or you want a fresh pair of eyes. By taking a step back and looking at your drawing from a distance, this is a really useful way to check if it's working. Ask yourself if the image still reads clearly. Can you recognize the subject without any detail? If the answer is yes, then you've done it right. If not, it usually means your values are too close together or your shadow shapes aren't clear enough, and that's completely fine. That's the real kind of feedback that helps you improve. Definitely try to avoid going straight into the darks straight away. Try and go from light to midtones to dark. And I recommend you just going lightly at first and building up your tones. If you go straight to making your darkest darks 100% black, it's really hard to refine later. So just build it up slowly. Refrain again from drawing those outlines and lines. This is a tonal exercise. And try to create interesting shapes that describe the form of the shape. The real benefit of this exercise comes from repetition. If you just spend 10 minutes a day doing this with different reference images, you'll start to notice a shift in how you see. You become more aware of light and shadow in everyday life, and you'll naturally begin simplifying what you observe. Over time, your drawings will start to become more solid, more confident, more intentional, because you're no longer guessing, you're making informed decisions. Let me know how you got on with this drawing exercise in the comments section below. If you've got any questions, I'd love to hear from you. I'm now coming to the end of this drawing. You can see that it's describing the pairs without any detail, and this is one of those exercises that can seem almost too simple at first, but it builds a skill that underpins everything in drawing and also painting as well. If you've been struggling with shading, realism, or just getting your work to look right, give this a proper go. Keep it simple, stick to 5 values, and stay consistent with it. It won't take long before you start to see real improvement, not just in this exercise, but in your overall work. Analyze the image that you're drawing and create a drawing without any lines, but tones, and you'll be surprised how accurate and how realistic you can create your images. And here's the final result. And if you want further help with shading in your drawings, I recommend you checking out this video coming up.